everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm feeling a bit inspired by the summer and I wanted to make a more romantic girly kind of card using butterflies, of course. So I'm starting with the standard A6 card base, and I also cut a piece of cardstock that is about the same size, and I will be doing some embossing and watercoloring on this piece. So I'm using this old embossing folder from Holtz, and I am adding some different colors of distressing to one side of the folder, and I'm using some red, purple and blue shades for this card, and I'm adding the darker colors on the top part of the folder. And I'm not being too careful about where I put the colors since they will be blended later anyway. And to blend the colors together I am spraying the piece with water, and since distressings will react with water they will start to blend. And then I'm adding my piece of cardstock and I'm carefully closing the folder before I bring it over to my big shot. And by doing it this way I get color on the embossed parts of the cardstock and the raised parts will stay white. And I think this gives it a pretty nice effect. I do find that these embossing folders from Holtz emboss a little too much sometimes though, and they almost make holes in the cardstock even though I do not have a lot of pressure when I run them through my big shot. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if this is the way it's supposed to be, but due to this problem I rarely use these folders. And when the piece is dry I'm cutting it to the size that I want, but as you can see here I am having some trouble with my paper trimmer. And as I said in my previous video, my trimmer blades need to be replaced, and at this point they hardly even manage to cut through the cardstock. But that's not really a huge deal right now since I can still work with the torn edges, and if I just make it even worse it will look like it was meant to be this way. And I'm adhering the embossed piece with a few foam squares, and then I am bringing out this doily that I got in a card kit from Simon Says Stamp a while back, and I'm just adhering that with my Tombow tape runner. And I'm placing it on the top portion of the card so I can cover up some of the blue color on the embossed piece that I didn't really like. And for the butterflies I am using these die lights from Whiff of Joy called Cute Butterfly Trio. And I also brought out some larger butterfly dies, but I ended up not using these. And I had already cut out a few butterflies and I was storing them in the die storage pocket, so I didn't have to die cut anything this time. I always save leftover pieces in case I need to use them on another project sometime. To color these butterflies I am using the same purple distressings that I was using for the embossing earlier, and I have listed all of the colors that I used in the description below. And to get some more dimension to the card I am adhering the butterflies with small foam squares. For the thinner butterfly I did have to cut the squares in half to make sure they were hidden behind the butterfly though. And now it's time for my sentiment. I couldn't really stamp directly onto the doily, so I had to use some white cardstock, but I didn't really like the look of white on white, so I decided to make two small colored strips to add behind my sentiment. And I'm using my distressings again to color some white cardstock, and then I'm just making two colored pieces and one white. And since I wanted to have straight and smooth edges for these pieces, I had to use my Holtz sanding block to smooth out the rough edges that my paper trimmer made. For the stamping I'm using this stamp set from Whiff of Joy called Magical Wishes, and I'm stamping in jet black archival ink as usual. And I'm also using my stamp positioner to make sure that I get the sentiment right where I want it. And for once I actually managed to get the sentiment pretty perfect. And then I'm adhering the pieces together with my tape runner, and I did decide to cut some banner ends to this piece. And to make it easy for myself and get it somewhat even, I am first cutting a slit in the middle on each end, and then I make a cut from the edge to the end of the slit. This way you get a perfect banner every time. And when the banner is done, I am just adhering it to my card, trying to get it centered. And of course I do need some extra detail, and I love to use pearls for the bodies of butterflies, so of course I will do the same here. And I did cut off the small butterfly head so that I didn't have anything sticking out. And that was my card for today. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to check out the complete supply list in the description below. I will hopefully be back on Sunday for another Simple Sunday video, and thank you so much for watching.